Stress is a natural part of life. Everyone experiences stress to some degree, whether it comes from work, school, relationships, financial challenges, or personal responsibilities. In small doses, stress can even be helpful, motivating us to complete tasks, solve problems, or respond to difficult situations. But when stress becomes constant, intense, or unmanageable, it begins to take a serious toll on both the mind and body. One of the most significant consequences of chronic stress is depression. Although many people see stress and depression as separate issues, the truth is that long-term stress can gradually lead to depression, affecting emotional balance, physical health, and overall quality of life. In this video, we will explore how stress turns into depression, what happens in the brain and body, and how we can protect ourselves from this silent emotional deterioration. To understand how stress leads to depression, we must first understand how the body responds to stress. When the brain senses a threat, whether physical or emotional, it activates the fight-or-flight response. Stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline flood the bloodstream, increasing heart rate, sharpening focus, and preparing the body to react. This is a survival mechanism designed to protect us during emergencies. However, the system is meant to be temporary. Once the threat passes, the body should return to a calm state. In modern life, stress often comes not from immediate danger, but from ongoing pressure, deadlines, financial issues, constant notifications, family responsibilities, or emotional exhaustion. When stress becomes chronic, the body remains stuck in survival mode. Cortisol levels stay high, and the brain never gets a chance to rest or recover. Over time, chronic stress begins to exhaust the brain. One major consequence is chemical imbalance. Cortisol disrupts the production and regulation of key neurotransmitters, such as serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine, that control mood, motivation, pleasure, and emotional stability. When these chemicals fall out of balance, individuals experience sadness, irritability, hopelessness, and fatigue. This chemical imbalance is one of the key biological pathways through which stress leads to depression. Chronic stress also affects the brain's physical structure. Research shows that high stress levels over long periods shrink the hippocampus A region responsible for memory and emotional regulation. At the same time, the amygdala, the brain's fear center, becomes overactive, making individuals more sensitive to stress and anxiety. This combination weakens emotional resilience and increases vulnerability to depression. The more stressed a person becomes, the more difficult it is to regulate emotions, concentrate, or find motivation, creating a downward emotional spiral. Another important factor is mental and emotional exhaustion. When stress accumulates, people begin to feel overwhelmed. Simple tasks feel harder. Motivation fades. Emotional energy drains. This burnout is not just tiredness. It is a deep emotional collapse where the mind can no longer cope with the weight of daily demands. Burnout is often a warning sign that depression is forming. People may notice that they cry more easily, lose patience quickly, or feel disconnected from the world around them. They may stop enjoying hobbies, withdraw from social interaction, and find that small problems suddenly feel massive. When emotional exhaustion goes untreated, it often evolves into full depressive episodes. Another way stress leads to depression is through negative thinking patterns. Stress increases worry and anxiety. The mind becomes focused on worst-case scenarios, future fears, and self-criticism. Over time, these thoughts become automatic. Chronic stress teaches the brain to expect the worst and blame itself for problems. This pessimistic thinking becomes the foundation for depression. Individuals begin to believe they are not capable, not strong enough, or not good enough. They may start feeling like failures even when they are doing their best. These distorted thoughts intensify depressive symptoms. Stress also affects behavior, contributing to depression. When people feel overwhelmed, they may stop engaging in activities they once enjoyed. They may avoid social gatherings, skip exercise, eat poorly, or neglect sleep. These lifestyle changes worsen mood and reduce emotional resilience. Sleepless nights disrupt the brain's ability to manage stress. Poor nutrition affects brain chemicals. Lack of physical activity reduces endorphins. Isolation increases sadness. Slowly, stress changes behavior, and behavior deepens depression. Physical health is another crucial link. Chronic stress weakens the immune system, increases inflammation, and contributes to conditions like headaches, digestive issues, high blood pressure, and chronic pain. These physical symptoms create additional stress, making a person feel trapped in a cycle of emotional and physical suffering. Pain, illness, and fatigue are strongly connected to depressive episodes. When the body suffers, the mind follows. Stress from major life events can also trigger depression. Events such as losing a job, divorce, financial hardship, grief, long-term caregiving, academic pressure, or workplace burnout can overwhelm emotional capacity. Even positive events like moving, marriage, or having a baby can cause stress strong enough to trigger depression. What matters is not the event itself, but how long the stress lasts and how well the person can cope. Another contributing factor is lack of support. Humans are social beings, and emotional connection plays a major role in protecting mental health. When people face stress alone without support from friends, family, or colleagues, they crumble emotionally. Isolation magnifies stress and accelerates the transition into depression. Without someone to talk to, emotional pressure builds internally until it becomes unbearable. Importantly, not everyone who experiences stress develops depression. Personality, genetics, coping skills, support systems, and life circumstances all shape resilience. But when stress is intense, persistent, or unmanageable, the risk of depression increases dramatically. This is why learning to manage stress early is crucial. Recognizing the warning signs is the first step. If stress begins causing sleep problems, constant worry, irritability, sadness, fatigue, or loss of interest, it may be evolving into depression. Ignoring these signs only makes the condition worse. Seeking help early can prevent severe emotional breakdown. Treating stress-related depression involves a combination of strategies. Therapy helps individuals understand their thought patterns, regulate emotions, and build healthy coping skills. Medication may be helpful in cases where neurotransmitter imbalance is severe. Lifestyle changes such as regular exercise, healthy eating, and improved sleep routines restore physical and mental energy. Mindfulness, meditation, breathing exercises, and journaling help calm the mind and reduce cortisol levels. Setting boundaries at work, reducing excessive responsibilities, and learning to say no are important for preventing overload. Social support is another essential factor. Sharing feelings with trusted friends, joining support groups, or seeking guidance from professionals reduces emotional pressure. Humans heal through connection, and reaching out is a sign of strength, not weakness. In conclusion, stress becomes depression when it overwhelms the brain, exhausts emotional resources, and disrupts the body's natural balance. But this progression is not inevitable. By understanding how stress affects the mind and body, recognizing early signs, and taking proactive steps, individuals can protect their mental health and prevent stress from becoming a long-term emotional disorder. Stress is part of life, but suffering in silence is not. With awareness, support, and proper care, recovery is entirely possible.